just had to throw a couple of things together, but here we are. This is Coffee Talk on a Saturday morning. It is January the 31st, and let me tell you something. It is a busy day. While it may not be the threat of thunderstorms or anything like that, we've got a severe weather warning day called for tonight, for all the way through to Monday morning, because some genuinely brutal air, some genuinely dangerous air is moving into Central Florida. And if you've watched me a while, you know I am not a hypey guy. However, that said, you got to call a spade a spade. Look at tomorrow morning's lows. Now, we're going to take you through today. We're going to take you through everything, but I just want to look to really put this into perspective, okay? It's going to be 25 degrees actual air temperature in Orlando. It's going to be 22 degrees actual air temperature in Leesburg. It's going to be 19 degrees in Ocala. This is genuinely dangerous cold. So to that point, a lot of people have been asking, like, what do I need to do? How do I prepare for this? I don't want my house to explode, right? Your house is not going to explode. I don't want my trees to explode. Your trees are not going to explode, okay? But this is a mega cold. So let's talk about a couple of things. First off, sensitive plants, place breathable cloth over them, okay? So keep that in mind. Just like we do any big cold snap. This is going to be a big one here, though, okay? People don't realize those pool pumps have exposed pipes. And if your pipes are not running water through them, you're going to run into a very big problem with temperatures that look like this, okay? And then I would also say keep a slow drip on the inside. Keep your well pumps running. You just don't want water to sit. When water sits, it has the opportunity to freeze. That is a huge issue. And with temperatures that are running as low as they are, case in point, this is a very significant concern. Okay? Scott's asking, I have the $1 million question. How close will the snow be? Last I heard, it will be near Tampa. Yeah, we're going to definitely look at that. So let's discuss the possibility then, of course, of snow. Is there going to be any snow in our area? The broad answer is probably not. Most of the West Coast has a 1% chance of seeing a flurry. However, what I need to figure out, if I'm just being fully transparent with you, so I'm going to be in the weather lab tomorrow. Do I come up here where it's going to be just disgusting cold? Or do I try to go over here where there's the chance of seeing some flurries with the weather lab? Okay, that's and I would love your input on that, because I'm either going to be chasing the cold where it's just like me shivering, or seeing if I could find some flurries. You know? I don't know. That's kind of where I'm out. Karen says go to the snow. Sandy says go to the snow. Don says go to the snow. Probably going to go to the snow. Yukon says go for the flurries. Yeah, okay. All right. Boy, you guys, Matt says go for the snow. See you just cold. It's not as exciting. Yeah. Boy, you guys are funny. All in unison. All right. So the chances there, we're going to look at the models together here in a minute, but you know, we're kind of on a journey here. So let's go over the steps to get to this journey. This morning, we've been watching a few showers. I'll show the first warning live radar here in a few moments' time. This afternoon, it's going to get windy, like gusty windy, like gross windy. Not fun windy. Those temperatures are going to be dropping like a rock. And then tomorrow morning is where it gets dangerously cold. So let's take a moment. Let's pause here. And let's just take a gander outside. See where we're at. Yukon says we're Floridians. We wants the snow, like Pirates of the Caribbean wants the red. I don't know that they say that anymore on Pirates. I don't know that you're allowed to say that anymore. All right, let's take you over to that's look over in the tourist district. Let's head over to the port. Gray skies. Let's head to our first warning live Doppler radar tower. See what's doing there. Yeah. So it's I mean you could I mean it's a little gray outside. Here's a live look at temperatures. Nobody says a gander either. Karen, why? Why you gotta be so mean to me? Look at the difference in temperatures here, though, right? Like you've got 50s from the Metro South. We're already at 45 in Ocala. That cold air diving in. Here's a live look in on our first warning Doppler radar. And that shower activity has been sweeping through. So where is it raining now? I guess you could say Southern Brevard County, right? Nothing severe, but these showers are definitely sliding through the area. So let's look at the forecast for the day ahead, okay? This morning, it's gray. Notice, so Cam, I think, has done a really good job of kind of illustrating how the impacts are really starting to get built in. All right. So starting off with temperatures at about 59. Watch the temperatures very closely, my friends. Lunchtime, we hit 60. That's it. That's our daytime high. That's all we got for you. Right? Because starting 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, we drop quickly. So impact weather, because that temperature is going to be really falling quickly. And then by 7 o'clock, Cam has upgraded it to a severe weather warning night because it doesn't just get so cold quickly, it gets bitter cold quickly, right? So whatever you're wearing, like if you're comfortable right now in comfy gear, that's fine. That's fine. Just know that it changes, okay? So here's your timeline. Mostly cloudy skies now through about noon. From 3 to 7, it's going to get windy. Those temperatures are going to fall. And then overnight, that's when that bitter, bitter cold really kicks in. So let's talk about some advisories here, okay? Tomorrow, it's going to start to get windy today. But tomorrow, in addition to the. Okay, see, this is where it gets so feisty. We've just talked about the morning lows. Let's take a minute and let's talk about tomorrow's afternoon highs. We only make it into the 40s for daytime highs tomorrow. 45 the high in Ocala, 46 in Orlando. And then combine those 40s with gusty winds, right? And it's going to be a troublesome one, okay? We also have extreme cold warnings posted for tomorrow morning. Now, I saw an internet hyper say, for the first time ever, extreme cold warnings have been posted for all of Central Florida. And while that's true, without context, it doesn't give the key. This extreme cold warning replaced a wind chill warning, which has been issued. So, yeah, it's not like this type of thing has never been issued before, okay? The last time this type of thing, and it says extreme cold watch, I'm going to just change it to extreme cold warning now that the warning has been issued. Extreme cold warning. Okay. So, the last time that that was issued in its previous version for all of Central Florida was 2010. So, there's just another example. Yeah, as Matt says, Cat 6 cold. It's just another example of just how bitter cold we are looking at here. Okay. So that's kind of where we're at. Let's break this down and look neighborhood by neighborhood. Okay. Right? Because the forecast tonight is a significant chill, right? Isn't that wild? Teens up to the north, 20s through the metro, 20s along the Space Coast. That's also not counting the wind chill. You want to talk about the wind chills for a minute tomorrow morning? Let's look. Okay. Wow. I mean, that is significant. That is significant. Feels like temperatures in the single digits in our northern spots. I genuinely don't think, I did my first forecast in Central Florida. I started forecasting in Central Florida in September of 2001. So we're talking 25 years. I don't know that I can remember wind chills actually getting this low. I could be wrong, but I just don't remember it. They've been a little warmer than this, but I genuinely don't remember single digits. Robert says, should have been here in 1989. I was here in 1989. I just wasn't forecasting the weather in 1989. Nancy's asking, should I leave my faucet dripping in Castleberry? Yes. All of Central Floridians need to be leaving the faucet dripping, need to be running the pool pumps, those sorts of things. We all need to be doing that. Okay. So that said, there's your feels like temperatures. We've discussed, the weekend as a whole is going to be changing, right? Because we've got the temperature hits 60 by noon and then starts to drop. Both days are going to be just bitter cold. Both days are going to be bitter cold. So let's look at the 7-day forecast. Let's put this together here, okay? For today, we hit 60. You see the arrow down. That's Cam's way of saying we're going to hit 60 about noon, and then those temperatures start to drop. Now, if those of you that are waiting to see if we are going to get snow, I'll have that for you here in a moment. But we'll look at the model data, I should say, in a moment. But yeah, notice 60 and dropping. That 60 is going to happen at like noon today. Then tomorrow, bitter cold, waking up to the 20s, feels like temperatures in the single digits in some spots will climb to about 46. Then Monday morning, we can't forget Monday morning. Okay, let's go to Monday morning's temperatures. When I see you on West 2 New Sunrise, we will still, and I don't know why that alert icon is as far to the left as it is. That needs to be there. We have to frame this correctly. I don't know what. All right. When we're doing our thing in Monday morning, we're absolutely going to be tracking more 20s. Now, the feels like temperatures on Monday morning, thankfully, do not look to be as bad. Okay, I mean it's still going to be very impactful, but it's not going to be as low. So let me find why is my eye not seeing it? Why is my eye not seeing this? Oh, there it is. Okay. So there's Monday mornings feels like temperatures. Still in the teens and 20s, but it's better than the single digits and the teens. So Monday morning's commute, Monday morning bus stop, Monday morning, whatever the case may be, is going to be. It's going to be so cold. So we're going to have obviously expanded team coverage on that. That's going to be a big thing. When we talk about weather at Wesh like that, we make sure to keep you covered on it. Debbie's asking, are kids still going to school on Monday? Of course. We're not getting a snow day. Yeah. It's just going to be very, very cold. So yeah, obviously not fun. All right. So top to bottom. This morning's comfortable, but tonight we're starting this stretch. And it's going to be tonight through Monday morning that we will all be under a severe weather warning day, okay, if that makes sense. Now, the $1,000,000 question that everybody's asking, and I get it, is it going to snow? So the forecast idea, okay, keeps that chance very, very low, but does keep the chance there along the West Coast. Now, we've talked a lot about this, and I suppose, it's a good opportunity to continue to discuss kind of how Florida can see snow. because this is not something that, is a common practice. Okay, so the first thing is, what are the dynamics? And I made this the other day. The idea is when you get warm water rising and then condensing and then causing clouds and then eventually precipitating down as showers or even some wet snowflakes, that's called ocean effect snow. Or in our case, we're going to look at it as Gulf effect snow, right? From there, if the winds push it toward the beaches, which can and does happen, then yes, you have the opportunity to generate some snow. So let's start off by just looking at our futurecast model. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the cloud layer off because the clouds, well, we can look at it with the clouds and then I can remove the clouds afterwards. So there's the morning showers. It's doing a fantastic job. All right. Let's roll it through time. Cloudy skies through the morning. There's lunchtime, starting to clear. So once we clear out like this, that's when the temperatures are really going to start to drop. All right, we've got some clouds coming in off of the Gulf and overnight clear. Okay, right off the bat, if you look over near the I-75 logo on the left side, it's already saying that there could be within those little streamers, those little onshore cloud decks. You see that right near the 75 bottom left corner? Yeah, it's already indicating the potential of like a little mixed precip. So, all right, there's that. Interesting. All right, 9, 10. You see those streams of clouds though, right? They start in the Gulf and stream in. That's the water cycle playing out. And if you get enough of the cycling, you could end up with some precipitation, right? All right, let's bring it full screen again. Let's continue. 2 a.m. Oh man, so close. Look at that. 6 a.m., 7, 8 a.m. I'm going to move this for a second. I'm going to back it up. Man, I mean, it's showing the potential there. Like, do I end up like taking the weather lab over to see my brother Frank? Right? It'll be interesting to see how this all plays out. Yep. It'll be interesting. So that's our futurecast model. All right. Excellent. We can move on from futurecast and let's do this. Let me dial this up and let's do multi-parameter precip type with thickness. Give me a second. All right. Great. Okay. So here we are. Give me a second. I have to turn this around because that's the way we go. All right. Perfect. Okay, I'll make you a little smaller. Not much, just a little bit. Perfect. All right. So this is the GFS. Perfect. All right, so this is the GFS. We'll look at this together. And we're just going to roll through time here. There's that thickness dropping. There's the 540 line. Excellent. Love that. There's the snow away from us. Yeah, so the GFS is not really showing it. All right, let's come over here. Let's switch over to the European model. All right. Snow, man, it's like right there in Flagler, isn't it? Ah, so close. So close. So close. Feisty. All right, let's look. Let's go to the Canadian. Man, I mean, it's going to be so close, right? At the end of the day, even if the model like doesn't pick up on it, like let's just call a spade a spade. Even if the model doesn't pick up on it, that's fine. We're still, I think we'll probably see a wet flake somewhere. I genuinely believe that. GDPS precip type and thickness. No. All right, let's look at the NDFD, or the National Blend Models, I should say. Winter. Yeah, so it kind of. So the National Blend Models backed off on much. Like a little bit. A little bit. Just a little bit. You see that. So that's the NBM stands for National Blend Models. Just a tiny little bit. Yeah. And that's something. Isn't that something? So that's the NBM. Let's look here. Let's look at the her model. Now we're within range of the her model. It's got a little bit, not a ton. That one doesn't go out far enough. Wharf. Yeah, I mean the wharf model has a yeah. I mean, it looks like a couple of flurries. It looks like a couple of flurries are possible around the Bay Area. That's kind of where we're at. Yep. Tim, I hope that that's not like an actual issue. Yeah. So anyway, could see a couple. Listen, could see a couple of flurries. I had a friend text me and she was like, "Listen, I don't know that I want to drive all the way to the West Coast for a 1% chance of flurries." And I think the idea with this graphic is most of us are not going to see flurries. I know somebody is, and the reality is I'm going to do everything I can to try and be that guy. Okay, Tim, good. Just want to make sure I don't need to like get scared here. So I'm going to do everything I can to try and be that guy that's seeing flurries. But yeah, most of us, especially inland, like around the Bay Area, up through the Big Bend and the Nature Coast, that's a potential. You know, that's a potential. I'll tell you this much: like I will have our live radar hyper tuned to be able to get the lightest of echoes. And I'll also be watching the Tampa radar. What's funny though is like, so this is the National Weather Service radar in Tampa. There's different modes for things, like, and of course you can't see this, but we have to switch from reflectivity to reflectivity with precip type, which I know sounds super silly, but we just don't use that. So anyway, there's that. It's always a party, you guys. It's always a party. All right. Questions, comments, concerns, my friends. Those are asking about freeze duration. Let's talk in Osceola County, okay? A very significant 10 to 12 hour freeze for you, even in Osceola County. Orange County, 10 to 12 hours, especially in more rural, like Zellwood, right? Apopka away from the lake. Seminole County, very significant freeze forthcoming. Okay. Very significant freeze. Brevard County, even for you, 9-10 hours. This is not a joke kind of a freeze, right? Let's head over to Volusia County. Okay. 10-11 hour freeze, right? Flagler County, Marineland, Flagler Beach, like right at the water, maybe a little shorter, but anybody else inland, it's going to be a long duration freeze. For Lake County, 10, 11, 12 hours. Absolutely a long period. Okay, that's why we have to protect pipes, plants, pets, all of those things. Sumter County, 11, 12 hours. Marion County, 12, 13, even 14 hours. Yeah. Okay. So what's the setup? What's going on here? Why is it that we are tracking such an odd weather pattern? This is not your normal setup. Not even close, right? So let's discuss there's this big storm system that's developing, and as it does, it's throwing in cold air, and it picks up some of that warm moisture, and that's the warm moisture in the Gulf that has the opportunity to bring in a couple of wet flakes. So there's a chance. It's not a huge one, but there's a chance, okay? That's kind of where we're at. All right? So a significant stretch of cold air moving into Central Florida. All right. There's our day planner forecast taking us through 9 o'clock. Look at the difference. Look at the adjustment. This, I think, is a really good way to visualize where we're going today. Okay. Patty's asking question, do we drip just one? All right, I'm done, by the way. I'm done going through stuff. Now we can sit and talk. Yeah, just keep the, by just dripping it, it's going to allow the water to not just completely sit in your house. So yeah, that's it. Yukon's asking, my question, does the low off the coast become part of the hurricane season forecast cycle? Yes, Jeremy and I have been talking about it. Yep. Yep. Siobhan says, can we see the hourly feels like for tonight going to an adult skate night? We're supposed to be outside for around an hour, 9:30, and the event ends at 12:30. Sure, you're not going to like what I have to show you though. All right. There's 9. There's 9:30 feels likes. It will already feel like the 20s by 9:30 tonight. And then 12:30 you said it's over? Yeah. So there you go. Not fun. Not fun. Tiffany's asking, so keep the pool pump running 1,000%. Melanie's asking, what do you do for your pool? You turn the pool pump on and you do not let it turn off. You just let it run. Remember, friction, right? That water moving actually causes friction to warm it up. What fun. Beverly's asking, please explain thickness. So when you cross over, the most simple way to do that is when you cross over here. I'll go back to this. When you cross, the most simple way is when you look at thickness, okay? Anything below 540 thickness is where you could start talking about winter precipitation. So that's just this overall, the oversimplified atmospheric thickness. It allows you to understand what type of precipitation you could be running. So yeah. Melanie's asking, what about your well? Yes. So, and I've shown this before. Let's pop this back up here just so that we can all be together on this, okay? The most important stuff to remember is, yes, if you've got sensitive plants, and this is, the first one, that's anytime it gets cold. But these two are going to be very important for tonight. Leave your pools running, especially if you have like pipes up top too, for solar heaters. But keep a slow drip. Wells need to be kept running. You need to do what you need to do to be able to keep water moving through. If you have a backflow system, then it's not a bad idea to cover that thing up. Matt's asking, can you talk about the Artemis implications? Yeah, well, they had to push back the wet dress. It was going to be today, but those temperatures are dropping just too quickly. So Artemis wet dress is now scheduled for Monday, and thus the first opportunity for Artemis 2 to launch is going to be Super Bowl Sunday, which can I also sidebar because you asked, and I don't know if you knew this, you may or may not track my airplane. I flew the shuttle landing strip last night. Eric asked to see Artemis before it launched. And I'm like, well, let's go. So we flew into the restricted airspace with communication with air traffic control. Okay. But we flew into the restricted airspace. We were in constant communication. And they let me do a low pass over the shuttle landing facility, to which we flew right by the vehicle assembly building. We were able to see Artemis 2. It was right there. So the kids got it was a great view of it. Yeah. So, yeah. Jurassic Crystal's asking, do you let your faucets drip with hot or cold? Cold. You want the water to come through the pipes outside. You don't want it to come from your hot water heater. Heather, I work out of Kansas City. My colleagues are asking if I've blown out the sprinkler lines. I don't know. I didn't know that was a thing. Our sprinklers should be fine, right? It's underground and soil is going to be a little more insulated. I've not genuinely thought about that. I don't think that that's an issue. Yeah. So interesting. All right, let's see here. Debbie says, and you didn't take me with you on that flight. I'm sorry, Debbie. I did take, yeah, we did take some pictures. Matt, let me look. I did take some pictures. Yeah, let's see here. That was a good one. That was a good one. I was at like 200 feet. Let's see. This is kind of a fun one. I'll show you. I kind of like this one. This is the wing of the airplane, vehicle assembly building, and then you've got Artemis 2 on the left side there. So anyway, I'd never done that before. That was a super, super, super fun flight. But yeah, so we got that we got that cool shot of Artemis 2. So anyway, yes, it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool. If your irrigation system is scheduled to overnight to run, turn that off for sure, Jenny says. Yeah, I think that though we've got limitations when it comes to watering, so I don't believe you should be doing it anyway, but yeah. All right? All right, other questions, comments, concerns, my friends. Kimmy says, hubby is ATC and pilots reporting snow at 7,000 feet this morning over executive airport craziness. Well, think about it. The freezing line comes down, and especially when it was showering, that absolutely makes sense. Yeah. Also, if your hubby works at ATC, Kimmy, you have to tell him to look out for me. Mooney 9426 Victor. I have concerns. No, I don't want to hear them, Taylor. You keep them to yourself. Thank you, Nancy. All right. Listen, we're gonna be fine. We're gonna be fine. We're gonna be fine. We are gonna be fine. Okay. This is going to be a truly significant cold stretch. We're gonna be fine though. Okay. We're gonna be just fine. We've gotten through cold before. We're gonna get through this cold also. All right. Does that make sense? Where did that? Why is my brain not working today? That's Monday. No, no. That's what I'm looking for. Okay. Anyway, all right. All right. I'm going to be in the weather lab tomorrow, hopefully chasing some snow. So I will see you. Yukon, November 9426 Victor. Track all my fun adventures. Sonia, haven't even gotten that far, but probably should. Probably should. All right. All right. Questions, comments, concerns. Here are our actual low temperatures tomorrow morning. Feels like temperatures, my friends, in the single digits and the teens. Nancy, gotta love our no hype daddy. What's up? How you doing, Nancy? Yeah, I mean, no hype, but this is friggin' cold. Like, this is real cold here. Siobhan's asking what time to start the drip. Look, I would say, 8, 9 o'clock tonight. I would probably say that's where we're gonna have to start, just leaving a drip. Okay. Leave your pool pumps on, do all the things you gotta do. Okay? Isn't that crazy? These temperatures are crazy. All right, people. Listen, thank you, thank you, thank you. Be the sunshine in someone else's day. I will see you all later. Take care. Bye.